4 vaping companies have been banned from promoting their products on Instagram. Those companies include British American Tobacco, the owners of the vaping brand Vype. Well, also today, researchers at Queen's University have published a report warning that the vapour from e-cigarettes makes harmful bacteria in the lungs more virulent. Dr. Deirdre Gilpin led that research on vaping. Dr. Gilpin, tell us briefly then about this research. What did you do? What did you find?
Good afternoon, Winifred.
Good afternoon.
So our research was really looking at chronic lung diseases, and which are really a complicated mixture of bacterial infection together with inflammation, and smoking also can play a role in those diseases. And at the background of increasing prevalence of vaping, we wanted to look at what happened when we exposed the key bacteria that are involved in those conditions to vape and smoke. And what we saw was that there was an increased potential for bacteria to become more harmful to the host, which, as you rightly say, is bacterial virulence, and also increased inflammation. But I think what really surprised us was that we saw a similar effect with vape, and in some cases greater when the bacteria were exposed to vape compared to cigarette smoke.
How might that work then? Why does cigarette smoke and vaping make harmful bugs in the lungs more virulent, cause irritation?
Well, one of the ways that we looked at how the bacteria became more virulent was their ability to form biofilm. And biofilm is a way in which bacteria grow, which makes them grow in large aggregates of cells, which are really sticky and therefore persist in the lungs for longer. And it's also harder for antibiotics and the immune system to attack and to clear those infections.
Might some of that be, the application of vapour in heat? You know, so if it's warmer when you're smoking or vaping, you're drawing warm air.
You're drawing
warm vapour into the lungs.
It could be. I think probably the effect of just combusting the materials is something that we really need to look at in more detail, and particularly with the advent. We know that there's thousands of different flavourings that are associated with vape use now, and really what happens to those when they are combusted is an important area for future research.
Okay. Dr. Gilpin, the experiments you did were not carried out on people; they were carried out on cells in the lab. Can you be confident that you would see the same effect in somebody's lungs?
Well, you can never be 100% confident until you repeat these studies in humans, and really that's really our next stage. But we have to make a first step of looking at to try and determine what we're looking for when we move this study from the lab to the patient. So the bacteria, they grow in a very complicated milieu in the lungs, and it's impossible to replicate that entirely. But we're pretty confident that the kind of broad picture is likely to be the same. But obviously we're keen to move this now to look at the effect in humans.
We asked Public Health England to come on the programme, but they told us no one was available today. But in a statement they say, our advice remains that vaping regulated e-cigarettes is far less harmful than smoking, and with appropriate support is an effective method to help smokers to quit. And they say that view, that e-cigarettes carries a fraction of the risk of smoking, has wide support from the Royal College of Physicians, Cancer Research UK, British Medical Association and the National Academy of Sciences in America. They say we continue to review our advice about e-cigarettes, and we've made a commitment to conduct an independent evidence review every year. What do you say to that?
Well, those are very prestigious organisations that we seem to be kind of questioning, and really our role as scientists here, and our role behind this study, was to provide evidence so that people could make informed choices. And I think that's the key. I think there really just isn't the scientific evidence of what the effect of vape is, either on the bacteria, on the lungs, or in the lungs in specifically. And really the evidence to support e-cigarette use as a smoking cessation tool is kind of very mixed. And a recent European Respiratory Society task force has really pointed to the fact that unless this is done in a highly controlled clinical environment, it could be that switching to vaping could undermine attempts to quit. And very often a lot of people end up, both vaping and smoking. I would say that the idea that vaping is less harmful doesn't necessarily mean the same thing as safe. And I think all sides really on both sides of this debate would agree that we are really in a bit of a knowledge vacuum here, and we need to get more evidence around what the long-term effect of exposure to vape is.
Dr. Deirdre Gilpin, thank you.